Good morning, Facebook. Hello. Anna here. Alright, I've not drank nearly enough water this morning. I did abs this morning for my workout, which usually I can drink a lot more water if I'm training anything else like legs or upper body or anything like that. But when I'm training abs, it is not as much fun to drink a lot of water and then do like crunches and things like that. So, but yeah, say hey when you jump on and let me know how you're going this morning. I wanted to kind of mention something because I have a lot of my friends and everything. You guys are in Melbourne, a lot of you, Melbourne in Australia, which is where I am at the moment. And so last night Melbourne got hit quite badly with a storm, and I know for a lot of people it's caused a lot of havoc and everything. Like I posted up a couple of things yesterday that you probably saw. I just sort of saw how beautiful it was and everything. We're very blessed that we have a garage, so our cars were in the garage. Nothing got broken or anything like that. We've actually just had the gutters cleaned, all this kind of thing. So we're very, very blessed and very grateful that we're absolutely fine. But I know, and I was speaking to quite a few people this morning at the gym who weren't so lucky and unfortunately, had some cars damaged and a few other things, and the houses damaged and things like that, right? And it got me thinking about personal development and about basically how we... Actually, I just wanted to check, make sure this is public. I'm sure it is. So basically, it's about personal development, right? So for a lot of people, myself especially, and obviously probably you and, lots and lots of people, very much into the personal development. And at some stage you do come across a part of your life where you kind of have to take a step back and go, you know what? I really need to focus on me right now. I need to basically get myself to the next stage. I need to really focus on me. I need to focus on my mindset work and put myself first and really do this, because until I sort my own stuff out, I'm not going to be able to move into helping anyone else, basically, and I'm going to be pretty useless, right? When you get that revelation of the whole thing of if you're not filling up your own cup, if you're not actually looking after yourself first, you're not going to have anything to give anyone else, right? So when you get that realization and you realize that you've been doing it for a while, which a lot of us do, especially, not especially, I mean, it's anyone, but I know, especially a lot of mums and a lot of people that have been, for example, in a relationship for a long time or whatever it is, that you get to a stage where you're like, I really need to put myself first. And really work through my own stuff, and you kind of go on this personal development journey. And I mean, we go on a personal development journey our whole lives. I'm still on a personal development journey and always will be, and I love that. That's what I do, right? But when you're in that headspace, you can sometimes start to feel a little bit guilty that you're not doing enough for others, and especially if in the past, hey Kate, how you doing? Especially in the past, if you've been in the habit of putting other people first, of always, kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of subdued. I don't even know what word I'm looking for now. Anyway, trying to basically put aside what you want and what you need for other people. If you've done that in the past, then it's very likely to crop up this sort of guilt feeling when you do put yourself first and when you do put your own personal development and your own inner work and everything ahead of other people. When you get into that, after a while, you might start to feel a bit guilty when things happen. Like, for example, last night, when Melbourne was going through this, and this is just an example, the weather and everything like that, but it's happening obviously all over the world, much more seriously than what we had, I believe, in Melbourne, as far as I know. I don't watch the news, but I know that in other parts of the world there's much more serious, nature disasters basically going on. And when these things happen wherever you are, you can often bring in that sort of feeling of, I'm not doing enough. I don't have the time. I don't have the money, or you know what? I don't even have the energy. I'm putting so much energy and so much effort into myself and into improving myself so I can give more to others very soon. But right now I feel like I don't have that energy. Sorry, let me just grab some water. All right. Okay, so you can get to that stage where you go, but right now I just don't have the time, I don't have the money, and I really just don't have the energy to put towards helping anyone else, right? And I understand that feeling, and it's that half guilt where you either like give up, or not give up, but you put yourself on the back burner again, and you go and say basically that oh, well, I'm going to put aside my mindset and my inner work and that kind of thing just to focus on other people for a little bit again, which is not a good idea, by the way. Or you just get guilt, or you try and ignore it and you just kind of feed that guilt into yourself, and that doesn't help you either. So here's what's really going on. Here's what I want to tell you. Something you need to understand, and especially around energy, like everything is energy, money is energy, time is energy, all that kind of stuff. But most importantly, at the core of it, when you feel like you're putting in so much time, so much effort, so much enthusiasm into yourself, and you feel like you don't have anything left for anyone else, here's what's actually happening. Whatever you're putting into yourself, whatever energy, whatever focus, whatever basically intention and action you're taking on yourself, and the energy that you're trying to expand on, the vibe, the state that you're trying to expand on being, it's not just for you. Like, as much as you feel like you're doing it for you and for your personal development, whatever you energetically put out to yourself will expand around you. It will expand to the people directly around you. It will just expand to the people in your vicinity, in the way that you attract people, and it will actually go into a global consciousness, right? So everyone who, for example, is thinking about improving themselves and improving the world and wanting to be everyone who is wanting to be the best version of themselves is connected globally through a consciousness with everybody else who wants to be the best version of themselves, which means by you focusing on you and focusing on wanting to make things as good as possible, you are putting that out into the rest of the universe. So the rest of the universe is now trying to also, everyone else that's connected and everything, all the energy that's connected on that is going to feed off of that energy off you and actually expand and make things better for other people. And you don't have to do anything. That's the thing. Energy is not limited. So I know that it feels like that when you're pushing really hard, or when you're really trying to strive for something, it can feel like I don't have enough energy to give to anyone else. I don't have it. But energy is not, in fact, limited. It is unlimited. And by you taking more, or someone else having more, or someone else having less, you are not, in fact, taking away from anyone else. It's like money. You can have as much of it as you want, right? It's just energy. And by you having more doesn't mean that someone else has less. That's not how it works. And if you believe that that's how it works, you're going to find yourself in a lot of strife financially and just emotionally and spiritually for the rest of your life, basically, because that's a very limiting belief to have, that if you have more money, someone else has to miss out. It's the same with energy. You taking more energy, you putting more effort in, you focusing on yourself does not take away from the rest of the universe and from other people that need it, right? So by you having an amazing experience today, by you having a positive experience, by you focusing on you and what you need to create the kind of life that you want, is not taking away from anyone else's ability to do the same. In fact, it is helping, because it is feeding into that same wavelength, that same energy level on a global consciousness that is picking up on that energy and feeding off it. And again, it's not taking it off you, it's not taking away your energy, it is simply expanding. Energy expands, it accumulates, it just grows, it just finds other things around it that it can attach to that are like it, and it just grows and it grows and it grows. You have no idea the amount that just one positive thought can bring into the future and into your current world just by focusing on it, right? So I want to take away the guilt. That's what I want to do. I want to take away the guilt of this and of feeling like whenever something, horrible happens, thanks, Kate, whenever anything horrible happens in terms of like a nature or disaster or something like that, and you feel like, oh, I wish I could do more, I wish like whatever, and you start to feel guilty, don't do that. Don't do the guilt thing, because that is just feeding into the guilt consciousness throughout the world of everybody else that's feeling guilty, and it doesn't help anyone. It just grows the guilt in the whole, basically the universe, right? Instead of that, let it go and keep focusing on what you want. So this morning when I was talking to a few people who did have, some problems with, cars from getting hail damage and properties being damaged and whatever it is, I did not feel guilty that my cars are fine, that my house is fine, that I'm fantastic and that I feel amazing. I did not take on that guilt, because that's not going to help anyone. Instead, I just focused on a simple, easy and positive resolution to all of these problems. I focused on expanding on what I already have within me, all of this positive energy, all of this focus, and bringing it out, right? And giving it to, and basically letting others feed off it and just putting it out into the world. And you don't even have to do that consciously, you will do it anyway. So even if you completely don't realize that anyone else needs your help, and you're just focusing on doing you and on your own personal development, you already are actually helping the rest of the world. You already actually are helping everyone else around you, like right here, like in your vicinity, and people across the globe that you wouldn't even know. And especially with the internet these days, I mean, half the people I talk to are not anywhere near me anymore, and it doesn't matter. I can affect, or I can impact their consciousness, I can impact their energy purely, obviously, through my words and everything like that. Thanks, Chelsea. Yeah. I can impact them from wherever I am, and that's just through my words and through my live streams and whatever it is and that kind of stuff. But it's not just that, it's the energy, right? And that's why, Reiki and the healing modalities and things like that, kinesiology, which I'm not a practitioner, I go and see a kinesiologist. That's why that kind of stuff works as well. Like the kinesiologist can muscle test and can tune into you from whatever it is halfway across the other side of the world, and actually, tune into you and feel you from there. That's how energy works. It doesn't have a distance. It doesn't have a time. It just is. It just is. Chelsea says, being authentically you is the biggest impact you can have on someone. Exactly. Absolutely. Because, like I said, energy, there is no limit to it. And you having more, you having a better experience, whatever it is, does not mean someone else has to have a worse experience. Does not mean that someone else has less energy. In fact, you having a better, higher energy, you having a better experience, whatever that means for you, puts it out into the world, puts that energy out into the world, and those particles of energy will find other like particles, and they will attach, and they will grow, and they will expand, and they will get stronger, and everybody else will get it. So let's just collectively decide to let go of the guilt, because I know this is something that so many people suffer from, so many. And I'm going to say this isn't like, what is it, countryist, I guess. But I do know that there is a very strong mentality, and I'm pretty sure like a lot of my English friends from the UK would probably back me up on this, that there is a lot of guilt and a lot of kind of putting yourself down that goes on around there, just kind of like a mentality. And it's like a country consciousness. The countries do have a consciousness where, you can, if you think of America, you generally have an idea of the kind of consciousness that most people there have. If you think of Australia, where I am, you might have a different idea, that kind of thing. And so that's what I mean by you got to feed into what you want to feed into. It doesn't matter if you're surrounded by people who may not actually be on a very high level and may not be into personal development. They will not even enter your radar anymore when you step into a different level of energy, right? You will attract people, you will attract energy from halfway across the world if you need to, if that's the closest person that's responding to it. It will happen because you just can't. Energy attracts like attracts like. Positive energy will attract positive energy. Personal development energy will attract personal development energy. Guilt energy will attract guilt energy. Whatever it is will just grow and expand. So focus on you. Don't feel guilty about doing your own work and taking time for yourself. Purely focus in on more and more on what it is that you want, and then just allow it to expand. Just allow it to expand. That's literally all that I did this morning, is just do my own journaling, do my own mindset work, and then just went, you know what? Everything that I'm feeling now, I'm allowing it to keep moving. I'm allowing it to keep moving out into the universe, and hopefully this will help. Well, I know that this will help for a resolution for some of the people that had, issues last night from Melbourne and that kind of thing. And that's it. That's all you can do. And that's the only way that it's actually going to ever expand and get better. Otherwise, it's just going to... Well, basically, you're going to feel guilty, you're going to attract more guilt, and you're just going to add that guilt into the universe. Kind of pointless. Before I go, actually, speaking of like my journaling and my mindset and stuff, if you haven't seen yet, my free Facebook group, Leaders Not Lemmings, which is where I do a whole lot of other extra fun stuff and lots of value in there and everything, I'm actually running my program Morning Routine Magic, which is a paid program. It's normally $139, and I'm going to run it for free inside the group, only inside the group, so I'm not going to do it publicly or anything like that. And so it's a 10-day course, I guess, program, Morning Routine Magic, and it's around basically setting into motion your morning routine. So obviously you heard me mention like journaling. If you don't know, I pretty much train as well at the gym every single morning. Fitness is a big part of it. So I'm going to be covering all of it in terms of taking care of yourself mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically as well. So in terms of looking after your body and setting yourself up in the morning to have the kind of day that you want, right? That you've actually set the intention of how it's going to go, and therefore it has no choice but to follow, rather than if you're in that sort of space of just kind of letting, I don't know, the day run you, which is what a lot of people do get into. They kind of wake up, and whether they feel good or they don't feel good, and whether they feel tired or whatever it is, they kind of just let that guide it, and then it just keeps going, and then it just keeps expanding. So if you wake up feeling shitty, the rest of the day kind of goes shitty. You have the power to change that very quickly and very powerfully in the morning to actually set the tone and the stage for the rest of the day for you. And I really, really, really believe a morning routine has been one of the biggest impacts on my life in terms of getting myself elevating really, really fast, in terms of my business, in terms of my mental health, in terms of everything. It's so crucial. It's so crucial. And if you read up, even just go on like Forbes or whatever it is, and just read about, Tony Robbins and Richard Branson and all like these really, really successful, amazing, influencing, impacting individuals in the world, they all will tell you about their morning routine, because it's just so powerful. Everyone has a different morning routine. So that's what I'm going to run you through. Basically what I believe is important, but I'm not going to tell you, you have to do this, you have to do this. It's just about finding what works for you, and I'm going to help guide you through how to do it, what to actually think about including and how to do that. Lots of journaling prompts, all that kind of thing. If you've never tried journaling, it's magic. So yes, that's Morning Routine Magic. It's going to be run for free inside my Facebook group, Leaders Not Lemmings. So you can either send me a private message, I can send you the link, or after I finish this, jump back on and I'll put the link in. I'll put the link in the description box or whatever it is. But it's if you just look up Leaders Not Lemmings, you'll see the Facebook group on Facebook anyway, and you can just request to join. Cool. All right. I think that's it. I think we're done. Hope you have an amazing day. Releasing all of the guilt. Focusing on you, and knowing that just by being you, just by being your best version of you, you are going to basically create everything, and you are going to help the world in every single way. When you are expanding and when you are putting the energy out there of being your best self, you are attracting the rest of the universe to be its best self. And that is the best thing that you can possibly do. So, you can give people money, you can give people your time, all that kind of stuff. That's great. But energetically, you give them everything. You give them absolutely everything, because you give them the power to actually change the circumstance, rather than just kind of throwing money at it or something like that. So, yeah, that's everything. If you have any questions, if you want to know anything more about my VIP Dream Life Overhaul, which the first one is happening for one person in January in Melbourne. There's a second one coming up in February in Sydney, is where I'm going for that one. So if you want to know more about that, this is my exclusive VIP luxury one-on-one coaching experience, where you get a full day one-on-one with me in a 5-star hotel in a luxury suite, and you get the whole day with me, where we just absolutely mindset and transform, hack the shit out of everything for you, whatever it is that you want to focus on. If you are just at that point where you're like, something needs to change, and it needs to change now, and I know that I'm worth more than this, I know I'm meant for more than this, and I'm just not doing it right now, and I don't want to buy a 6-month coaching package and take this slowly. I want results now. I want to step up now. I want to be at the next level me now. This is what it's about. This is how I work. I work one-on-one. I work with immersion. I work with just absolutely blowing your mind in a very short space of time. So in that day, everything is going to change for you. You are going to step up into the next level and then you have a month of ongoing coaching with me anyway, to make sure you stay there, to make sure you keep even growing. You're not even going to stay there, you're going to expand from there. But this is basically, think of it like 6 months of coaching in one day is what it is. It's just, it's incredible. If you want the details for that, I can send you like a video which explains everything. So just send me a private message and I'll send you that video so you can watch that if you're interested. But that's just for one person in Melbourne in January and one person in February in Sydney. So make sure that if you're interested, send me a private message, get that video, and let's get you applying and booked in so that you don't miss out. Yeah. All right, I will pop the link for Leaders Not Lemmings in, and I will see you guys really soon. Have an amazing rest of the day, and remember, live life on purpose. Bye.